Hi, it's Heather from Stamps Paper Love, and I would like to welcome you back to my channel for a scrapbooking process video. This layout was done for the CraftIQ August Challenge that is hosted by Jackie Malzahn. I've put a link to the Facebook group so that you can check it out if you haven't already. Basically, it's a 7-day recipe challenge where we get a different prompt each day for 7 days. There was a lot of indecision on my part as I created this layout, so the video is probably a little bit longer than it should be. But here we go. So the first day, the prompt was to use one photo, pattern paper, and a cardstock frame. So you can see I have a photo of my daughter quite a while ago in a swimming pool, and then I've got a really bright piece of paper that has some pattern on it, bright colors. I think it's an Amy Tangerine paper pad that I had, and then a sheet of black cardstock. Day two was to add fussy cutting. So you can see right now I am fussy cutting out a sticker that I had placed on a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to use that as part of my title. And there will actually be a few other fussy cut items too as I build the layout. That splash little image piece on the side, I will end up cutting that out and putting that on the page as well. The next day was to add a bit of yellow or orange or both, and this little banner or little border sticker has yellow and orange. So I'm going to create a little border piece that goes on the layout. You'll see me place it on the layout here in a minute, and it doesn't end up staying where I place it. And actually, I build it up with some other paper on top of it too. I just started by putting it down on some white cardstock and then cutting the banner piece a little bit narrower. And then I decide that I didn't really like that gap in the middle of it, so I add some other things. And then later I end up taking some of those things off and changing it to something else, so you'll kind of see how that plays out. The next day's prompt was for polka dots, so I do have polka dots there on that banner, which is great. I'm going to also introduce some other polka dots in the manner of a photo mat. I had these little flip-flop die cuts that I toyed with using. They don't end up making it on the layout. I don't know. I just didn't really care for them. So you can see on the little banner, I added a piece of green and white polka dot paper, and then I added a pink little squiggly sticker, and I didn't leave it on there long, but it doesn't really matter because that doesn't even end up making it on the page. So now I'm just planning on how I'm going to put the pieces together. They kind of advise you don't stick everything down right away because you never know what's going to wind up getting added later. But here I'm just inking the edges of that pattern paper with some green ink, and kind of deciding where that photo is going to go. Again, I fiddled with those flip-flops, but I messed up the inking on that, so they look kind of bad anyway. The next day, the prompt was a multi-font title, so I added that beautiful sticker to the title, so now it's going to be Beautiful Summer Girl. And here's where I start adding some more polka dots. So this piece of paper is green and white polka dot. It's got a little variegation in that green, so it's kind of cool. It's vellum, so I add the mat around the photo, and then later, and I'm not sure if this is even on the video because part of some of the things I did, I ended up doing off of the camera when I was just tinkering around a little bit. But I do end up adding some white cardstock behind the vellum just to help make it stand out from that busy pattern background a little bit more. So again, you can now see that border a little bit better with the pink and the green on there. And I think about adding some washi tape, and I don't end up doing that. But I still just really don't like how that middle piece looks under the photo. It's just not working for me. So off camera, I do a few things to change it up. I add in some more pattern paper. You can see there that kind of scallopy paper that's in there, and I'm going to end up inking that with some, I think I might have done green. No, I did do black. Okay, so black on this, and it just so it would stand off from that background pattern paper a little bit more. And then when I put it down on the paper, I still decide that that's just not enough for it to stand off. So later I'm going to go ahead and put that piece of paper on some more black cardstock and help it set up there a little bit more. So at this point, I think I've met all the requirements, because you can see I just had a little bow in there. That was the next prompt, was to add a bow. So I had a Simple Stories bow left over from some collection. It's just kind of a rainbow striped bow, and so I decided I would put that on as part of the embellishments. And the last day was to add a flag, so I had created some flags with for a little cluster down at the bottom. You'll see a little bit more of that in a bit as well. So here's where I am backing that piece of pattern paper with some black, just to get it to offset a little bit from that other little, I guess it's kind of a florally, lemony sliced pattern of circles. And I'm going to adhere that kind of to the middle of the page, a little bit higher than the middle. And keep on keeping on. So here I'm just measuring to make sure that it's the right width to span across the pattern paper. I didn't want it to be too short, so that way it goes right from black frame edge to black frame edge with this scallopy piece of paper. And you can kind of see the border down below where I did change out that border. I took off the green polka dots and the pink that was in the middle of that border, and I added a piece of that scallopy paper. I fussy cut that blue scallop and put that in the middle of the banner, and I ended up liking that quite a bit better, and it's going to go more towards the bottom of the page. And the photo is just a summer photo of my daughter. We spent many hours out in the yard in the summertime, and they had a above ground, one of those little inflatable type pools that they would spend hours playing in. And so here's where I'm adding the cardstock behind that vellum so that it shows through a little bit, and then of course I'll trim it off. And after that, I think it mainly goes into embellishing. And I forgot to, as I finished the video for this, I realized that I had forgotten to put the journaling on there. So you'll see in the still photos at the very end, the journaling. And I actually added some things that aren't even in that photo. There's also a little turtle brad that I added on, because the inflatable that she's sitting on was one of her favorites, and it was a turtle, and it had a name and everything. It was named Mr. Turtle, and she loved that thing. And there's another layout I had created quite a few years ago. This photo's from 2007, so it's been around for quite a while. And I'm putting a little foam there so it pops up a little bit. But anyhow, she just really loved that turtle, and at one point the turtle met the demise that many inflatables meet, and she was just absolutely devastated. So there is another layout about Mr. Turtle's departure from our summer days. So this will probably end up going in that album and kind of be a companion page. So now I'm working on a little cluster at the bottom where I have taken these flags. I decided to do these 3 flags. One of them is that green polka dot vellum. I believe that's backed on white cardstock as well. And then I just did a black flag. And then I end up taking this yellow-orange flag in a minute. I don't show it on the camera, but I stamp some polka dots on it. So it's going to add add some more polka dot interest. So there are polka dots all over this page. And it, turned out really cute. And these products are so old for the most part. I looked at the back of the stickers that I'm using. They're like me and my big ideas stickers that I have in my collection. And they're from like 2006 or it might even be 2007, the year that the photo is from. Oh no, 2002. So they're even older than the photo. And it's just one of those things where sometimes you have such great ideas when you buy something and then they just don't get used. And so it was really kind of nice for me to be able to use up some of the stuff. I have no idea why I left so much of that, me doing nothing in there. Probably was when I was stamping on that flag. But anyway, I probably should have edited out some of that. So then I go back to building this cluster, and I'm going to put the flags down. I'm going to add that splash on there. I think I put some foam on the back of the splash word to make it kind of pop up a little bit. And from there, I'm just going to add some more embellishments to the page. There'll be a cluster up at the top with the title. So I don't know, I'm kind of working slow right now. I guess I could have edited out some more of this stuff. Boy, this YouTube stuff is not as easy as you would think. That's for sure. It's been fun learning it, and I'm definitely learning a lot. But the editing, I think I'm gonna have to, keep playing with that, because there's a lot of nothing happening on this video here right at the moment. So I apologize if you're bored to death. Speed it up. Go ahead and go forward. But yeah, there's the splash, and then I'm going to add on in a minute. I'm going to add on a little girl that's sitting in kind of a lounge chair. She's also a sticker from me and my big ideas, and I put her on some white cardstock and fussy cut her out. Now I'm just adding that banner on there at the bottom. Oh, I guess I decided to ink it with some black ink as well. I typically do quite a bit of inking, and I've been using these little daubers that I've had for quite a while. They're starting to kind of fall apart, so I think I'm going to have to invest in some other applicators for that purpose. So we'll have to see what I end up with. I've seen plenty of things that I would like to try, but so far haven't pulled the trigger on grabbing anything new. So here's where the splash goes on. You can see I did add some foam to the back of that, so it pops up a little bit. I really love using foam. I use that quite a bit, and then I always put an acrylic block on top of whatever has the foam on it so that it helps let it settle down. And there is that striped bow that I'm adding on there. I end up adding a bow on the journaling block too, but that's not going to be on the video at all because I have not taken pictures since I added. It's just a little pink and orange bow, and then the turtle brad. So if you want to see that, you'll have to check it out on Instagram, because that's where I will end up putting the photo that has that extra stuff on it. My Instagram, I'm just Stamps Paper Love over there, so I'll try to link to that in my description as well. So now I'm starting to work on that top section where I'm going to embellish and put the title. So I put the Summer Girl on foam, and then I kind of ended up regretting it, because the beautiful sticker that's going to come in to give me that second font, it was already a foam sticker. So I end up having to add another layer of foam behind the foam on the sticker and fussy cut that out too. So I did do quite a little bit of fussy cutting on this layout, which I don't normally do a ton of fussy cutting. It is definitely not my favorite thing to do, but overall I was pretty happy with how the pieces turned out for this layout. So maybe I'll add that into my itinerary a little bit more. I also have to work on making sure that my page is centered in the frame for the video a little bit better. So there is that beautiful, it's just a foam sticker that I had on I don't know, some set that I think I got it Tuesday morning, and I think I play with it a little bit more. Here it ends up, I end up putting it over the top of that Me and My Big Ideas little title sticker, and that's why I have to end up adding the foam to it, which I don't do right now apparently. And then I'm just looking through some of my other sticker sheets, and I add this little oval onto the bow. It just says Bikini Babe, so I figured that was appropriate. She used to typically wear some kind of bikini when she was out in the pool. And then there's also this little chipboard sun that I add to that bottom cluster, and I take a minute to decide where I want that to go and glue that down. I had a bunch of all of those again are really, really old stickers, and I just, was hoping that I'd be able to get a few more in there. I think the only other sticker that I add, well, there's two more stickers that I add. There's a little pair of flip-flops, small pair of flip-flops that get added to the bottom of that splash cluster. And then there's also a pair of sunglasses that are pink that have little hearts on them that I add to the title cluster, because they kind of look like the goggles that she has on the top of her head. So I thought they were a pretty good addition. And again, I have no idea what in the world I am doing right now. I guess just sorting through my stickers and trying to find things. So here we go. Oh, and there's a bathing suit too that I add, that I pull that from that sticker sheet. So I'm not sure what order I end up doing all that, but there's the flip-flops. They're going to go in that little corner of the flag banners. And I'm just kind of, trying to decide what else I want to put on there. I had this little, it's kind of an epoxy, not really epoxy, I don't know, rubber maybe. It has a little flower on it, and it's got some polka dots, and I've had it forever, and I was just really determined that it was going to wind up on this layout. So you can see I'm fiddling around with it. It does make it, but it's not going to stay where I had it put there just a minute ago. So here's where I move that sticker that says beautiful, and then I end up having to again add some more foam to it and plant it there, glue it down. And I guess I still didn't add the little rubber guy. I guess I'm going to do my girl fussy cutting in that little lounge chair and add her to that bottom cluster. Those Me and My Big Ideas stickers, those little kid stickers, I have so many of them, and I know that I used to just think they were the cutest thing, and I really did not use very many of them, and I've got quite a few, so I'm going to have to try to make an effort to get them on some of my kid pages. My kids are not kids anymore. This girl in this photo is 22 now, so I have quite a backlog of photos that I can still work on. And, I love working with new scrapbooking products, but darn, you got all these older ones sitting around, so either got to use them or give them away or do something with them. So definitely need to dig back deep into that stash sometimes and see what you can come up with. This layout is so bright, and I so love bright colors. This one's almost a little bit too busy, I think. I guess that pattern paper background, if you don't tone things down, sometimes can be a little bit overwhelming. So this one's just fun and bright, though. We had so many good times in the backyard in the summer, and it just, bright and cheerful, and reminds me of those days quite a bit now that they're much older. My youngest is 18, so our little kid days are definitely very, very far behind me. But I still have lots and lots of photos, so I can kind of relive those memories and enjoy thinking about how they were when they were little. So here I add those sunglasses, and again, I'm going to fiddle around with where they are going to end up. I think I stick them there, and then in a minute I'm going to decide to move them somewhere else. And I'm just going to still keep tweaking it and playing with it a little bit. There's the little bathing suit that ends up getting added on. The one thing that I found about those Me and My Big Ideas stickers, those older ones, they're really, really thin, and they're kind of clear. which makes it nice for putting it onto white cardstock and cutting them out. But they are not very forgiving in terms of being able to pull it back up once you've touched it to the paper. So the newer cardstock stickers and things like that, if you decide you don't like where you put it for a minute, you can definitely pick them back up and move them around a little bit more. Once you've stuck those clear stickers down, you're probably not going to get them back up without damaging something. So yeah, I guess I'm going to go back to that spot again, but guess what? No, they aren't going to stay there. They just are not. I don't know. I'm going to fiddle around with that bow a little bit, fluff it up, and it still doesn't end up right there. There we go. That's where I end up keeping it. And then I'm going to bring that rubber little flower piece in there and glue that down. And I think that's, the extent of the fiddling that I do. I do add some journaling on another flag little piece. So again, that's at the very end of the still shot photos. But that is it. It was really fun to do this challenge, and I hope that you are able to check out some of the other layouts that will be linked in my description down below, and join us for the next CraftIQ challenge. I don't know what September will bring, but it is sure to be a really good time. I've done a couple of these now, and it's definitely fun. Pushes you out of your usual scrapbooking style a little bit, because you just don't know what prompt is going to show up, and even if you start planning something, you might get a little wrench thrown in things or have to figure out how you're going to incorporate the things that are prompted. This, for me, a lot of the things just kind of happened naturally. I was like, oh yeah, they added polka dots. Well, great, I've already got polka dots on here. I think the title, the bow, and the flag were the things that threw me the most. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will subscribe and see some more of my layouts that come out in the future. Bye.